Grace and peace from our Lord Jesus Christ. This is Sister Liberty, and I am back with another teaching for you. We are discussing today about the heart and the condition of the heart. So prayerfully, you have the ears to hear, especially if you are someone who you're already in the body, but you're striving to become more like God. It is your desire to please God. So prayerfully, you are in position to hear what the Spirit of God is saying. And if you are someone who you are saved, you do consider yourself as a Christian, but you're out of the will of God, or you are playing church, it is very critical that you are evaluating your life in the direction that your life is headed, and respecting the fact that you cannot play both sides, respecting the fact that you cannot hold hands with the world and also with God. You will have to choose. You will have to make a decision as far as what you want. And so with discussing the condition of the heart, the matter of the heart, that's a very serious thing. So we've talked before about the heart and how it is probably the most valuable organ in your body, probably the most valuable muscle in your body. We talked about how, you can survive without a limb. You can survive without, your eyes, your ears. You can survive, with a sickness or an illness or a condition in your body. You can survive, with other parts of your body out of service. You can live with being deaf in your ears. You can still live with being blind. You can live with, without a foot or without fingers or without a leg or a knee or whatever the case is. But your heart, if you put the heart out of service, then the body will begin to die. The body will die because the life of the body is in the blood, and the heart pumps the blood. That's where your blood comes from, your heart. So if a person's heart stops beating, then there's no life. That person will eventually die. And so we're talking about the heart. We need to understand that the heart is a very sensitive organ, and that a lot of things come from our hearts. And when we don't pay attention to that, then we can find our own hearts leading us astray. What most people fail to understand is your heart is deceitful. You will deceive your own self. Jeremiah tells us in chapter 17 that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. He tells you the condition of your heart and why you shouldn't trust in it, why you should not follow your heart and lean on your heart and go with wherever your heart is going or wherever you feel your heart is going, because your own heart. So it's been said, and it's true, that you don't need anyone to lead you astray. You don't need anyone to deceive you. You don't need anyone to lie to you. You do a very good job. We do a very good job with lying to ourselves. That's why we're living in a time where the world is teaching people that you just need self-love. What they're saying is, you don't need nobody to do bad all by yourself. You can do bad all by yourself. You don't need no one to lie to you. You don't need no one to break your heart. You don't need no one to fornicate with or to have sex with. You can do it all by yourself. You can rape yourself. You can tell yourself things that you would believe. You are capable of believing your own lies. You are capable of believing your emotions and your feelings, what your heart tells you, what's going on in your heart. And James tells us in James chapter 4 what's happening in the heart. He says that wars and fights, they come from within. But I like how he says that it's based on what you already desire. So you are already seeking affirmation. You're already seeking love. You're already seeking acceptance and to be wanted and to feel valuable. You're already looking for these things. And so because that's already a heart's desire, the condition of your heart leaves you vulnerable. It leaves you to believing your own lies. It leaves you to believing that, well, maybe what I need is to be alone. Maybe what I need is to walk this road alone. Maybe what I need is a man, or maybe what I need is self-pleasure. Maybe I need to get into masturbation. Maybe I need to get in taking trips. Maybe I need to get into drinking. Maybe I need to get into tattooing my body. Maybe I need to get into magic and witchcraft and enchantment and burning sage and palm reading and telecards. Maybe that's what I need to get into, because there are desires on the inside that you and I are fighting up against. Your heart is telling you one thing, but the spirit, because the word of God says that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So your heart and the conditions of your world. So what you set your eyes to, what you look at, what you focus on, you will be conformed into that. So what you look at, eventually you will become. And so if you are a person who you're not saved, or you are saved, but you're out of the will of God, and you are watching all kinds of things, you're listening to all kinds of things, you need to understand that it's going to affect your heart. That's going to affect your emotions. That's going to affect your feelings. That's going to affect the way you view life and what you think about life. And so based on what you set your eyes to, that determines how you are going to feel over time and what you believe. And so when those fights and those wars begin to arise, because your spirit man is aware that no, these kinds of things are wrong. But when we get to that place of convincing ourselves that it isn't wrong, because we're living, the condition of the world is not getting worse, or not getting better, I should say. The condition of the world is going to get worse. There are a lot of things happening and a lot more things about to unfold. So we need to understand what's happening here. If I don't pay attention, if I don't care, if I'm calling what I'm feeling, my feelings, my emotions, my passions, my desires, if I am considering these things to be good, although they're bad, I lust after women. I lust after men. I desire to masturbate. I desire to do things to myself. I desire to do things to people, or to do evil things to people. I desire to be a mean person. I desire to just... So Jesus says that man loves darkness rather than light. You like dark things. You like evil things. But to you, they're not evil. To you, they're not bad. We're living in a time where things of that nature is becoming worse. So a person can wear a Grudge shirt with a picture of the girl from The Grudge or the girl from The Ring, and they can be a professed believer, and they can see nothing wrong with that, because their hearts tell them that this is good. We are coming into a time where, so it's already happening. It's already happening where people are calling good evil and evil good. It's already happening. That has to set off some alarms in your mind as far as what's happening to your world. If that doesn't matter to you, if that seems very normal to you, then that's a problem. That's a problem. That tells you that there are things happening in your heart that you need to pay very close attention to, because if you let those things linger, if you brush those things off, if you say, let bygones be bygones, let people be people, thou should not judge, to each his own, then you are going to be among those whose hearts deceive them. People's hearts are going to deceive them. You don't need a false prophet to deceive you, or a false pastor to deceive you. People are going to be deceived by their own emotions and their own hearts. Yeah, that's the great falling away. You don't need the devil to lie to you and to tell you things. Your own heart will deceive you and drive you right away, because you're following it. So we don't need the devil. We don't need false teachers and false prophets and false ministers to deceive us. We are capable of deceiving ourselves because of what's happening in our hearts. And most people don't care what's happening in their hearts because they trust themselves. Your world, you need to understand, your world is messed up. Your world is broken, and your broken world is trying to fix its broken mess and its broken condition, and it's not capable. It does not have the power. It does not have the strength to fix itself. Your world is telling you how to love you, but you don't know how to love you if you've not met love. It doesn't matter how you take that, how you view that, what your understanding is about what love is. To you, you think love is taking yourself out and getting a pedicure, manicure. You think loving yourself is taking yourself on a cruise and getting away from society. You think loving yourself is buying all of these sexual toys and having a great time and doing things to yourself. You think loving you is going to the bar and having a couple of drinks. You think loving you is getting a new tattoo, dyeing your hair, getting a new piercing somewhere. And if we can be honest, that's not self-love. That's self-destruction. The enemy wants you to believe that it's about you and that you need to focus on you. But Jesus tells us that the first greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your strength. And the second, he says to love your neighbor as yourself. The world is telling you, don't love anybody but you. But God is telling you to love your neighbor as yourself. Why doesn't God tell us to love ourselves? Because it's already in you to love you. It's already in you. You were built to care for yourself. That's why a person at any given moment can go from fight or flight mode, because it's in you to survive. So God doesn't have to tell us to love ourselves because it's already in us to love ourselves. We're learning how to get beyond ourselves, but we have to pay attention to what's happening in our heart. Yeah. There's wars going on the inside. You think that you're fighting against physical people. You think people is your issue and your problem, but the problem is self. The problem starts with here. What's happening in my heart? Why do I feel angry all the time? Why do I feel suicidal at times? Why do I feel lustful at times? Why do I feel afraid? Why do I deal with anxiety? Why do I deal with depression? Why do I deal with insomnia? Why can't I sleep at night? Why do I deal with hearing thoughts and hearing voices? And, I deal with stress, and I deal with discouragement, and I deal with shame, and I deal with condemnation. Why is it that man's heart is failing them? Jesus says in the last days, man's heart is going to fail them. Why is that? Because you trust in you. You trust in you. You know what the barrier is when it comes to serving God is the fact that you would have to lay down your life. The fact that you would have to deny yourself. Most people will never deny themselves because they love themselves. They do business with themselves. They sin with themselves. Listen, you are with you 24 hours, 24/7, 7 days a week, 52 weeks in a year, 365 days a year. You're with you the most. So you don't need, that's why people, we're coming into a time, we're already in a time where people don't need people. I don't need to go to church to know God and to serve God. I can serve God by myself because you're with you all day. So you trust you, but you made bad decisions. You're confused on what is good and what is not good. You think that there's nothing wrong with a shirt that has the grudge on it. You think that there's nothing wrong with someone wearing a shirt that has the pentagram on it, a witchcraft pentagram. You think that there's nothing wrong with that show or that movie. What's happening to your world? What's happening to your heart? We are coming into some dark times. The world is changing very quickly, and it's getting worse, especially the season that we are about to approach. I mean, we have a woman running for president, and God forbid she should win. Not to get too much into politics, but you need to pay attention to what's happening to your world, because whether you are into that stuff or not, whether you agree with it, whether you like it, whether you support it or not, it is going to affect you. So it doesn't matter whether or not you're into politics. You don't have to be. I'm not into it. But the point that I'm making is pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening. That's what I'm trying to get you to consider. Pay attention to what's happening on the inside and what's happening on the outside. Because although there are wars on the inside, there's also a whole nother war going on the outside that's going to affect you. So God forbid we should have a woman president. Jesus. You better hold on to the cross. Don't just get near the cross. You better wrap your full 2 arms around it, because this nation is going to experience some things that it has never seen before. Even if the other person wins, even if Trump wins, however, they've already decided who's going to win anyway. So that doesn't really matter. But we're not going to get too much in that. But you need to understand that your world, wherever you are living, is going to get worse. There are some events that are about to unfold. There are some things that are about to happen. And if you don't have God, and I'm not just talking about in your heart, if you don't have God as the forefront of your life, as the leader of your ship, as the driver of your vehicle, as the pilot of your plane, the captain of your train, if you don't have God, if you don't have Jesus, your heart, we need to respect the fact that our heart is deceitful. Your heart that you trust in will fail you. Make no mistake about it. We can look over our lives and see different times, different seasons, different events where our hearts have led us astray. Our hearts failed us again. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times my heart has failed me and I've broken my own heart. I don't need anyone to break my heart. I am capable of breaking my own heart. I don't need anyone to lie to me. I am capable of lying to myself. It is in me. I spend most time with me. You spend the most time with you. That's why self-love is so dangerous, because it's blinding. It will blind you from reality. It will blind you from truth. It will position you to be deceived by your own heart. And you will begin to think that all you need is self-love. I'm not saying you don't have to take care of yourself, but you don't have to tell a person in their right minds to take care of themselves. It's already in you. That's why you brush your teeth. That's why you take a shower. That's why you feed yourself. You don't go without eating. You don't go without bathing. You are someone in your right mind. Now, if you have mental illnesses, if you are on drugs, if you are governed and controlled by demon spirits, then that's something different. But someone in their right mind, you don't have to tell them to take care of themselves. They're going to clothe themselves. They're going to wash their face. They're going to brush their teeth. They're going to eat. They're going to have on shoes. You don't have to tell them that. So we don't have to be taught to love ourselves. It's already in you to do so. So when it comes to loving outside of ourselves, that's where we struggle at, especially if you've had experiences with people betraying you or letting you down or taking you for granted, or mismanaging what you've given them. Maybe you gave that person money. Maybe you helped that person out and, they got themselves back in the same situation. Or maybe they mishandled the money that you gave them or whatever resources that you gave them. Maybe they put themselves back in the hole. Maybe they broke your heart. You let those walls down. You let that person in and that person hurt you. But really, it was your own heart that led you to believe that this person was capable of managing your heart. The only person that is capable of managing one's heart is Jesus Christ. He made the heart. He can mend the heart. He knows how to handle the heart well. He knows how to heal the heart. He understands that the heart is delicate. He understands that the heart is precious. He understands that, no, I can't be too forceful with this heart. I have to be gentle, and I have to break through the callous. I have to break through the wall. I have to break up the fallow ground so that I can get to the core of the person, so that I can heal the person. We need real healing. So he knows how to break through the callous. He knows how to break through those walls, those gates, those barriers. He knows how to break through that. And once he gets to the core of you, it's over. He knows how to heal those deep parts of you that have been wounded. He knows how to get to those scars of the heart, the trauma of the heart, the bad experiences of the heart, the parts of your heart that you don't let nobody into. He knows how to get right up in there nice and good and to pull all of those things out and to heal you. Yeah, when God touches your heart, you're never the same again. It doesn't matter what you've gone through, how many people have caused trauma, how much pain, how many scars, how many wounds that are on your heart. He knows how to touch it and how to make it whole, make it new. Yeah, he can give you a love that you never knew existed. Most people, what do you think most people are doing in the world? What do you think is happening? People are looking for love. So their world is teaching them that, baby, the best love is self-love. So what are you telling me? That the world is broken? Yes, we're telling you that the world is broken and nobody's going to love you like you. So you have a bunch of people out in the world trying to learn to love themselves. You got to learn to love yourself because you're broken and you're messed up. So you're searching, well, is this how I can love myself? Is it over here and buying things for me? Is it over here with getting my hair done and my nails done? Is it over here with buying me a new suit, a new watch, a new car? Is it over here starting my own business? Where is it? Man is searching. The heart is deceitful above all things. You need to respect that. You don't need the devil to deceive you. You are capable of deceiving yourself. What I'm saying is, you'll do a very good job at lying to you. You'll convince yourself, no, this is what it is. Oh, no. I am owed respect. I am owed love. I am owed affirmation. I am entitled to love. You will convince yourself of that. You will take that on. And most of us believe that we are entitled to love, that God should love us. God should not require anything from us. God, I've been a victim. God, I've been hurt. God, I've been mistreated. I've been abused. I am owed and entitled to love. And so we feel as though we should get that. And so when we do approach God, we feel as though God should understand the condition of our hearts. And the Lord is saying, you know not what spirit you are of. You have no clue what's in your heart. What is there in your heart? Can I have it? Most of us don't even want to give what's in our hearts to God because we are so used to man breaking our hearts and abusing our hearts because we've given our hearts to people. And so God is saying, give me your heart. No, God, but I'm afraid. But he's the only one that knows how to mend it. He's the only one that knows how to touch it. He knows that it's delicate. He knows how to be gentle. He knows how to come in a delicate way and touch every part of it, leaving none of it untouched. He knows. Yeah, I know you've been hurt and abused and mistreated. I know your own heart deceived you. I know it tricked you. I know it lied. I know it told you that was the one. I know it told you that was the way. But let me tell you something. If you give your heart to me, I'll never break it. If you give your heart to me, you'll never have to feel that emotion of being alone again. You never have to feel that emotion of being unloved again because I love you. Yeah. People are out here giving their hearts to all the wrong things instead of God. They would rather give their hearts to either themselves, self-love, or to the devil, instead of giving it to God. James says that wars and fights come from the inside. There's a whole war going on the inside of you. You're fighting to figure out, who am I? You're fighting to figure out, what do I want in life? You're fighting to figure out, well, what is good? What is bad? What is evil? What is God? What is the devil? Because there are things happening in your heart. You've watched things that has affected your mind and your perspective. You've listened to things. You've listened to people who does not serve God, who does not love God. And they've told you things about life and how you should view life and what you should believe about your heart and how you have to go after what you believe. Yeah. Your world is teaching you how to be a bad person. I told you again, your world is messed up. You need to respect that. You need to respect that the world is messed up. Why do you think they have all of these pills for you to take? When you go into Walmart or whatever grocery store and there's stress relieving pills, there's anxiety pills, there's suicidal pills and bipolar pills and all kinds of things. Yeah. The government knows that you're stressed. The government knows that you are discouraged and that you feel hopeless. Your government knows. He knows that you are depressed. Yeah, you're depressed because that man just broke your heart again for the 5th time, or that woman just broke your heart again. And so why don't you just try the same sex? Why don't you just start bestiality? Why don't you just start self-love? Maybe you need to buy some toys, some passion toys, some sex toys. Maybe you need to go and try this drug. Your world knows that it's messed up and it's trying to tell you how to fix your problems and it can't. Yeah, just go see a therapist. Just go to this counselor. Let them talk to you. Let them show you some images. Let them soothe your mind. Just smoke this marijuana. It'll relieve you of that pressure. It'll relieve you of the pain that you're feeling. Yeah, there's a whole war on the inside and the outside. You're battling. That's why most people just want to give up at this point. They don't know what else to do. They've tried everything. Man, I've tried it all. I went to witches. I've tried witchcraft. I did telecards. I did the Ouija board and all of those things. I've been in a relationship with both sex, men and women. I don't know what else to do with my life. Turn to God. Turn to God. Let him teach you how to be a good steward of your heart. Your heart is precious. He'll tell you everything that's in it. Most people don't want to know what's in there, but God will tell you what's in there. No, you're angry. No, you're bitter. Back in 1988, this person did this to you and you never forgave that person. You never let it go. That's affecting your heart today. 20 years later, 10 years later, you wonder why you're struggling. You wonder why you have this disease, why you've been diagnosed with cancer. Most people don't realize that what they're dealing with is a result of what's in their hearts. As you know, the life of the body is in the blood. Where does your blood come from? It comes from your heart. In your blood, there's things. There's memory. Yeah, there's trauma, there's experiences that affects your body. That affects your body. So people have heart issues and different kinds of diseases that came from their heart. That came from the trauma and the problems that are in their heart. God will tell you, no, you're still holding on to anger, or you're lustful, or you never let that go. You know you never confessed this before. You know you never renounced that. You know you never repented of that. You got to let that thing go if you want real freedom, if you want real healing. And I'm not talking about a temporary solution of the pills that your government offers you to help you sleep at night because you can't sleep because you're so messed up from what happened years ago. I'm talking about a permanent real solution. Let God have your heart. Let God tell you what's in your heart so that he can fix your heart, so that he can fix you. You want to know real love? Real love is Jesus Christ. That's real love. Real love isn't loving you because you can't love you. The love that people are offering to themselves is really self-destruction. This person doesn't know that they're self-destructing because they're doing more damage than good. They think that they're doing good, but it's because they're deceived by their hearts. They're deceived between what good and evil is supposed to look like, what love is supposed to really look like. The world is teaching them love looks this way. But that person is doing more damage. All that person is doing is sweeping the trauma under the rug and learning how to just cope with life, learning how to maneuver their way around life. That's what the world is teaching you. Just maneuver your way around the problem. Just fake it till you make it. It's okay to be beautifully broken. It's okay to not be okay. We're all messed up. That's what your world is teaching you. But God is saying, come unto me, all those who are laden and heavy burden, I'll give you rest, and your soul rest. Your soul is crying out for rest. Your soul is crying out for help, for healing, for restoration, for newness. Your soul, your heart is crying out for identity. What am I and who am I? My life is messed up. I didn't ask to be here, yet here we are in the middle of a war zone. You and I have been born in a war zone. None of us asked to be here. None of us signed no paperwork. At least I didn't sign any paperwork to say, sign me up to be here. However, we are here. We're here. And as we are here, you have no choice but to fight your way out of life. You have to fight to survive. You have to make it out alive. You got to make it, whether you want to fight or not. Listen, there's no discharge in this war. We're in a war and you can't get out of it. Point blank period. You're here. And I used to have to get over that because I'm like, Lord, I didn't ask to be here. Why is my life this way? Baby, you got to learn how to fight through. There's power. There's grace to stand, but that's only in God. Trying to fight this war on your own, you'll never win. Why do you think people are losing the war out here? Because they're not fighting the right way. They don't have the right understanding to the kind of war that they're in. See, you think you're wrestling against flesh and blood. You think physical things is your issue. This is a spiritual war. This is a spiritual battle. You're warring. There's a fight on the inside that you have to fight every day. Your thoughts, your heart is telling you one thing, but the Spirit of God is saying another thing. Your thoughts are saying this. Your soul is making you feel this. Yeah. There's a whole war and there's no discharge, meaning you can't get out of this life. The only way to get out of it is through death. That's the only way. If you say, well, I'll just kill myself. Well, okay. Things will just be worse for you. But being born into a fallen world, you have to fight through it. And the only way to fight through it is to fight with God, teaching you how to fight. The only way to win this battle, to win the war, you got to stay in the ring. You got to stay in it. That's the only way to make it out alive, is finishing. But I need to know that I have to fight through this life with God. I cannot do it on my own. Look at your world. Pay attention to your world. Look at the celebrities. I'm not telling you to go and pull up an app, but look at what's happening in your world and the condition that we're headed. Look at America. Look what's happening. We got a whole woman running for president. Pay attention to what's about to happen. You're going to remember these words. You're going to remember these times. Man, she said it. Yeah. There are some things that are about to happen that's going to shake this nation. And prayerfully, you are someone who is in the faith, and that your faith is founded on the rock, Jesus Christ. Because if you don't have faith in Jesus, if you're not standing on the rock, you're going to be blown away like that house on sand. You're going to be blown away. You're going to be easily deceived. If you are deceived by your own heart, how do you expect to stand against the Antichrist? Your whole world is becoming anti-Christ, anti-Christian. Look, pay attention. Pay attention to what they're putting on the clothing. Yeah. A Christian, someone who professed to be Christian, had on a exorcism shirt. And when he was asked about the shirt, a man of God, he didn't see anything wrong with it. Dude, you have a whole demon on your shirt. If that thing was to come out of the closet, it would not be entertaining. The individual said, well, I didn't really buy the shirt. It's just entertainment. That's why the body of Christ needs deliverance from that spirit of entertainment. Because if we're just calling things entertainment, although it's evil, then we are deceived. We need to know that there is a good and there is a bad. And we can't, as people of God, we cannot call what's evil good and what's good evil. We cannot do that. But that's the direction of your world. It's becoming anti-Christian, anti-Christ. Yeah. Pay attention. Pay attention. I'm telling you. There's some things that are about to occur. If you are someone you're already easily deceived, you say, no, my heart gets me all the time, Sister Liberty. I just can't help but to listen to it because it feels so right in the moment. But then it gets me in trouble. Yeah, I remember when my heart used to get me in trouble until I stopped listening to it. Yeah, my heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. It likes evil. We like evil. We would rather watch a show filled with violence and sex and adultery and lies and theft rather than watching a show full of life and inspiration and godliness. No, I don't want to watch that. That's boring. I need something with a little more action in it and a little more entertaining. That's how people live their lives. They like the drama. They like the turmoil. They like the craziness. They like the violence. They like it all. So when it comes to the things of God, people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear about your Jesus. They don't want to hear about our God. Their world is conditioning them to receive the Antichrist and receive the mark of the beast. They're already doing it. Yeah. Get this new chip. Get this new robot car. Buy this new robot. Talk to Alexa. Talk to, Google. Trust Google. Use Google. Don't ask God. Ask Google. Your world is conditioning you to take on all kinds of false perspectives and false beliefs. And now you believe this. Now you don't believe in God because you believe in these robots. The robots are doing our job. The robots are talking to us. The robots want us to talk to them. Pay attention to what's happening. Yeah. They're making all kinds of new chip. Put the chip in your dog. Put the chip in your child so in case that they get lost, you know where your child is. What's happening to your world? Go ahead and talk to your dead ancestors. You should try telecard reading. You should really get into that. You would like that. You should try palm reading. You would really like that. You like a good person. You know what? You should go and, figure out who your ancestors are. Why don't you try Ancestry.com. Look into that and figure out what's in your blood. There's curses in your blood. That's what's in your blood that you need to be freed from, that you need to be disconnected from and set apart from, because it's causing you to be the person who you are. Yeah, it's causing you to deal with all kinds of thoughts. It's causing you to repeat patterns that your parents did, and your parents walked in cycles that you can't break. Every week, every month, every year, you're going through the same thing. Why? Why am I going through this all over again? Why do I feel like I was just here a year ago or a month ago? Pay attention. There are things in your blood. The life of the body is in the blood. How do you think things are passed down? There aren't just good genes that are passed down and good characteristics and good things that are passed down. There are also bad things that are passed down in your blood. It's in your blood. That's why you do what you do. That's why you think the way that you think. That's why you make the same decisions that your parents made. How did I get stuck in poverty? My parents lived in poverty. How am I back here? How did I turn to drunkenness? How did I get here? Many of us, you get to a place where you're trying to figure out, well, how did I get here? Because I told myself I would never be like X, Y, and Z. I'll never be like my mom. I'll never be like my dad. Here you are making the same kinds of decisions, doing the same kinds of things. Your life turned out just like so-and-so. They said you would be like that person, and your life turned out to be just that exact way. What's happening? You need to know. You should want to know. This is for those that have ears to hear. Yeah. I'm talking to those that are lost, but I'm also talking to those that profess to be believers, because we are supposed to be the standards of God in the earth. We are Jesus in the earth. So we are supposed to be a standard. We are supposed to be an example. And so when the world sees us, they should see Christ. They should not see worldliness. They should not see us doing what they're doing. It's very shameful and embarrassing when you hear people of the world say, well, they do exactly what we do. What's the difference? What's the difference of being a Christian when you're doing the same thing that I'm doing? That's embarrassing. I don't know if anyone has ever said that, and prayerfully they never do. Prayerfully, you are someone who has the fear of God in your heart, and you are living righteously to not have to hear that. We should not have to hear people say things like that. But unfortunately, we are living in a time where people are mixing Christianity with all kinds of things. It's okay to be a Christian and get a tattoo. It's okay to be a Christian and curse. It's okay to be a Christian and have a boyfriend and a girlfriend. It's okay to be a Christian and, lie on your taxes, more money, help more people, feed the poor. We play these games. It's okay to be a Christian and dye your hair. It's okay. It's all right. Pay attention to what's happening in your heart. That's why Jesus says, if your eye be single, then your whole body is going to be full of light. But if your eye be full of darkness, he says, how great is that darkness? Because what you set your eyes to is going to affect your heart. Your heart is already messed up. You were altogether born and shaped into iniquity. You were born into this war zone. There are things happening in your heart. Your heart is like a sponge. It just soaks up things. That's why people can have memories from years ago. They may not be able to remember everything, but there are certain events that a person can remember and hold on to. No, I remember that one time when I was 4. I remember that one time when I was in the womb. I remember that one time. Yeah, your body, your heart, it holds memory. It holds memory. There are things in your heart that are happening. There's a condition. There's a state that your heart is in, and your heart needs healing. It's broken. You need to respect that it is that. You need to be honest that it is that. That's why I like what James says. Just the whole chapter 4. He says, from whence comes wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence even of your lust that wars in your members? Your fights that are within comes from what you are already lusting after. Because that part of you, that spirit man, is willing, but your flesh part of you is very weak. Your spirit man wants to thrive and wants to search for God and seek truth. And it wants to help. It wants the healing. But your flesh parts of you, it loves pleasure too much. It loves the world too much. It loves that feeling over there too much. It loves that woman over there too much. It loves that thing over there too much. It's fighting. It's fighting. It's almost like two people trying to fight for the will. This part of you wants to go this way, in this direction. But the other part of you wants to go this way because it looks more exciting. It looks more entertaining. Yeah. You lust and have not. You kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. He says you fight and war, yet you have not because you ask not. You ask and receive not because you ask amiss, that you may consume it upon your own lust. People are asking and wanting things from God according to their own lustful desires. Why does this person want this from God? Because they want to satisfy their inner desire, their inner needs, their inner pleasure. That's why that person really wants this. You adulterers and adulteress, know you not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God. If you are a friend of the world, if you hold hands with the world, if you have a foot out in the world, you are an enemy of God. You cannot, listen, in this kind of war, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. I'm just going to tell you like that. You cannot have both. People want both. I want ketchup and mustard. Okay? I want a hamburger and a hot dog. I want pizza and wings. I want a red and a black car. Yeah. You want the full thing, but you're not built and designed to have both. God didn't create it that way. Either you are for God or you are for the world. Either you are hot or cold. God doesn't like lukewarm things. He spits those kinds of things out. So you cannot have both. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Do you think that the scripture says in vain, the spirit that dwells in us lusts to envy, but he gives more grace to the humble? Wherefore he says, God resists the proud, but he gives more grace to the humble. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee. But you have to submit yourself to God. Most of you, many of you, you're not tired yet. You're not tired of getting beat up by the world. You're not tired of those days where you are left to your emotions. And those memories and those traumas, they eat you alive. You're not tired of that. You're not tired of the broken hearts. You're not tired of the destruction. You're not tired of the violence. You're not tired of the drama. You're not tired of the lies from other people. You keep letting your guards down and people keep lying to you. Maybe you say, well, I just keep my guards up, Sister Libby. You're not tired of the same cycles and the same patterns. He says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. If you continue thinking, well, I'll just live both lives. I'll live a double life. People are out here trying to manage both, but they're so unstable. Yeah, they're like the troubled seas. They're unstable as water. Because you cannot hold hands with the devil and walk with God. You cannot. You cannot. Yeah, you cannot. So we need the fear of God. We need to be honest about what is happening in our hearts. How do you feel? How do you feel about God? Why do you feel that way? What did you watch that made you now believe this? Because once before you were a believer, but maybe you heard someone that was an unbeliever. You know, I'm telling you, be not deceived. Be not deceived. The times are getting worse. Many people are going to be deceived. Jesus says a lot of things, a lot of events are going to occur. He says many false Christs are going to rise. Many false prophets are going to arise. And he says, because iniquity shall abound, the heart of many are going to wax cold. People are going to become desensitized to the truth. People are going to become desensitized to what's good. They're going to become desensitized to what's right. People are not going to care. People already don't care. They don't care. They like the people. You have people who, they love the world. They love the sin of it. They don't feel bad about it. They don't feel convicted. They don't feel like what they're doing is wrong. They don't feel like they need a change or that they even need to change. You have people who they like it. They like it. And they have learned to maneuver their way around life and through life. They've learned to cope with the conditions of their world, the condition of their heart. That's why they have these marijuana shops, these CBD shops, so that you can find ways to cope. That's why they are giving out all kinds of drugs. There's ways to get drugs. If you want it, the devil will make it available for you to get. Yeah, he wants you to remain busted and disgusted. He wants you to remain in bondage. He wants you to remain messed up. He wants you to remain deceived and continue lying to yourself. He wants you to remain in that state. Yeah, there are people who really just love the world. They don't have a desire for God. They don't care for God. They don't care for the things of God. They are really okay with being in the world, and they're learning how to maneuver through this life with their problems, with their messed up situation, with the condition of their heart. They have learned how to just be okay, although they're broken, although their rest is not, their souls are not at rest. People have learned that. This is the world that we're living in. So be not deceived. Be not deceived. Do not follow your heart. Do not trust your heart. Follow God's heart. Trust in God. In Jesus' name.